funneling. Although my opponent got the first turn, he failed to bring up his insects on the 4+s when his turn 2 came. Now, we're in my turn 2 currently, where my Scorpion and my Swarm showed up over in his battle line, so I've got one Scorpion charging his Lich Priest in the Arch unit. Very handy, I can assassinate the Lich. I've got the Swarm scattering a bit too far and ending up on the hill. I've got my other Scorpion charging his Bone Giant, represented by the troll there, and his Scorpion, you can tell because my Scorpions are slightly more of a paler white, whereas his Scorpions are a bit more of a dull brown color. His one Scorpion's in combat with my Prince's unit. Prince, I'll just tell you what happens right now. The Prince charges in, and the chariots get maximum impact hits. So I got like 13 impact hits with the Prince there, and obliterated this skeleton. The Scorpion, and managed to overrun. And his other Bone Giant is out in the middle of nowhere. Over on the far side, the Carrion are doing a great job destroying that unit of 10 archers. In fact, they're down to about 3 archers now. So the Carrion single-handedly mopping up the whole lot, taking only a single wound. So the battle's actually going very well for me so far. But let's go to the next picture where we can see a bit more of an eventful phase. The Scorpion in combat with the 20 archers assassinates a Lich, very handy. So pat on the back for the skeleton, for the Scorpion, doing a great job, getting his points worth. You can see there's a horse-mounted Lich on the far right of the photo. That's the Lich being removed from the play and just putting next to the dice. The Lich isn't actually over there; he's dead. The chariots in the front have wiped out the Scorpion, and during the magic phase managed to bring the other chariots over to flank the giant, which was being charged by my Scorpion, and killed it through doing a number of wounds on it, and the enemy giant fluffing its attacks. So really looking very good right now. I've actually taken the whole flank, killed the giant already, killed a Scorpion already, assassinated a Lich on the right-hand flank, so things going very well for me on the left-hand flank, wiping out a whole unit of archers over there. Really feeling confident about this game right now, but anything can happen. We'll see what my opponent does to respond. And next photo, here comes the giant, just charging straight into this big unit of skeletons here. He's already taken 1 wound, but I think I wounded him from mass archer fire or something like that. But here comes the giant. I'm just going to switch to the next photo. We can see, oh, this is a beautiful photo, just crystal clear definition. And the giant charges in. Let me tell you what happened here. Giant fluffed his attacks, unfortunately, killed like 2 skeletons, and then I attacked back and didn't do anything, but my combat static res is 5, so obviously he took a couple of wounds from that, and not feeling too good there. That giant now feels a bit wasted. He was looking cool, he was looking like he was going to do a lot of damage, but charging into a bulked-up unit like that, infantry unit, just didn't really quite cut it, and there's 210 points up against a 170-point infantry unit, and he's not doing a very, very good job there, but beautiful photo, really loving this. I love the way he's painted his giant as well. Next picture. Okay, it's my opponent's 3rd turn. I think so anyway. 3rd or 4th turn? No, yeah, 3rd or 4th turn. And he moves his Tomb King's unit around here with the Icon Bearer, ready to charge the Scorpion in the flank, and that's a good plan because it'll allow him to overrun to the chariots if he's successful in that endeavor. You can also see his Lich Hierophant in the background leaving his unit. I'm not sure if that's the end place that he actually put him, but that's where he is in the photo. I'm going to switch to the next photo where the magic phase for my opponent is completed. And he does charge in, he does kill a Scorpion, does overrun into the chariots, and that's bad news because the King with the Destroyer of Eternities is strength 7, so I'm expecting all of those chariots to go bye-bye, unfortunately, but there's not too much I could have done about that. Just want to compliment my opponent on the way his models are looking right now. The shields on the skeletons are looking fantastic. So are the bowmen up close like this. It's really cool. And I love the whole blue versus red dynamic that this game is presenting. Unfortunately, the Icon Bearer not painted, but everything else is painted really well. So this game was a great game to look at visually. All right, so next turn, it's Tomb King's, Vorl's turn 3, I think it is. My Prince, really worried about being charged by the enemy block there. As predicted, his Tomb King wiped out all of my 3 chariots. Very easy to do with strength 7. All he needs is 3 wounds and they're all gone. So my Prince, deciding he doesn't want a piece of that, just moved back as far as he could. Prince has already taken a wound from bowfire, and he's just moved right out of range of that enemy unit there. In the meantime, my Scorpion's charged into his arch unit, and this is the remaining Scorpion that I've got, and the Swarm from behind has charged the archers as well, so looking to deal with the archers, and all that my opponent really has left right now is the Giant, which is dying slowly. this big unit of skeleton melee guys, and his Ushabti, and of course his Hierophant. So next photo, you can see in a bit more detail what's going on here. My Swarm from the back and the Scorpion from the front, just really dealing with his archers. My opponent actually gave this arch unit a champion and a standard, which really made it a lot more resistant to close combat, but still doing quite well. I've managed to mash most of the guys from the back rank, so things going pretty well for me in this particular combat. Next photo, you get a bit of a zoom out overview. The giant has been destroyed by the infantry blocks on my line, so that's dealt with. In the meantime, his Scorpion actually misfired when it showed up and didn't actually make it through the tunnels. The tunnels collapsed, and unfortunately, my opponent was very unlucky and lost an entire Scorpion on the hill there in the far background of the photo. His Swarm made it up though and went straight into combat. And of course, my King was in that unit, and the King just moved to the back rank and took out the Swarm. So all of my opponent's insects are dealt with, and my own insects, the Scorpion and the Swarm, are just pummeling on his archer unit. I've got the Carrion wiped out the unit in the far background, and they've just moved their way back to threaten the Lich, who has joined the Ushabti here. At this point in the game, I'm just pelting the Ushabti unit with archer fire in the hopes of killing the Lich. Didn't manage to do it, but this is all my opponent has left, and he's just moving his big Tomb King unit, Tomb King with the skeleton melee warriors forward a bit. I may also like to note that there's two green little crystal counters next to that unit. That's because the Icon Bearer took 2 wounds when they charged the skeleton, charged the Scorpion earlier on in the combat, on in the game. The Scorpion didn't quite kill the Icon Bearer, but inflicted 2 wounds on it. Now, some of you guys may like to point out that the Icon Bearer only has 2 wounds to begin with, but my opponent gave his Icon Bearer 2 items. Fan Braces of the Sun and Arm of the Ages, which gives him +1 wound. So he started with 3 wounds, I took him down to 1 wound. Had he not taken that item, would have killed him. Next picture, the Tomb Prince is still staying out of range of that unit of Doom, because if the Prince charges in, I'll inflict massive impact hits, I'll do plenty of wounds to his unit, get heaps of combat res, but his King will just wipe me out with Destroyer of Eternity, so it's not worth charging at all. It's best just to stay back and play conservatively at this point. I've charged the Carrion, and the Carrion have flown over the Ushabti just to finish off this arch unit in the background, so I've got 3 of my units intact, killing his archers there. Excuse me. And it's just as Ushabti left, I've landed the catapult bang on one of the Ushabti on Sredman's head, finally an actual direct hit from the catapult at long last, obliterating one of the Ushabti but not killing anymore, so that's 1 down. Next picture, very low on skeleton archers over here. The combat just rumbles away. The Swarm has taken 4 wounds, but this combat is looking like it's definitely going my way. I'm going to be able to wipe out the archers very shortly, and then he'll be down to just 2 more units left. And really loving, yeah, I've said it before, I'll say it again. This battle has just been great to watch. Tomb Kings versus Tomb Kings. Even his bases are really nicely done and converted, and I love the little tiling he's got there. It's very, very cool looking. Next picture, his Ushabti getting even closer to my infantry unit, and I'm just getting ready to take him on here. You'll notice the Casket of Souls in the background hasn't really been doing any damage this game, because he's been keeping his crucial units within 10 inches of his King, and he's been scrolling the Casket a lot and blocking it, so hasn't really done that much damage. Good photo though, and you can see what's going to happen next. My infantry are just bearing down on his Ushabti. I've moved the Tomb Guard about 2 inches in front of the other unit of skeletons, so that if he charges me, he'll charge the Tomb Guard first and deal with them, and then I'll be able to get some kind of maneuver around to him, possibly in the flank. Next photo, this is pretty much Tomb King's turn 5. Yeah, Vorl's turn 5. Red Tomb King's turn 5. Wiped out the archers, and the Ushabti and the Hierophant have been wiped out. What happened here is that I charged the Ushabti with the Tomb Guard, and I flew the King around the back. Then I used magic to charge the King in next to the Hierophant. The King wiped out the Hierophant in one go. Then he wiped out a whole Ushabti, and the Tomb Guard took care of the rest. So my opponent is left with just a single block of Skeleton Warriors with a Tomb King and an Icon Bearer on one wound. During his final turn, turn 6, he just moved back like 4 or 5 inches. And in my turn 6, I just shook his hand and said, good game. I didn't even bother collecting any table quarters or anything. I knew that was it. It wasn't really worth playing anymore, because it had been a victory to the red-coloured themed Tomb Kings, also known as Vorl's Tomb Kings, also known as King Thoth. Is the some of you may or may not know that that's the name of my Tomb King. A little bit of trivia for you. It doesn't really affect the battle much, but he's known as Thoth. Thoth. Hope you guys enjoyed this report. I certainly enjoyed this game and really enjoyed getting the better of my opponent there. I think he only made a few mistakes. I think if I'd been him, I would have tunneled some of his insects under my casket to get that 300 points worth of items, of victory points rather. I would have possibly deployed a bit better with the bone giants, and I'm not really sure what else he could have done. I think his list was slightly inferior to mine, especially because he had taken the icon bearer and not a prince. His magic phase was definitely underwhelmed by mine, and he had less ranged units. The giants didn't really get their points worth, 440 points or whatever it is for 2 giants, and they just didn't really inflict any damage whatsoever, so managed to win that game fairly convincingly. Thanks for watching the report, guys.